Hello again. Welcome to our third project of the day. I thought I would say hi again instead of just starting with my hands. Hopefully you are having a good day. And if you have not watched the first two videos yet, make sure you go back and do that. They are in the new product launch party Facebook group, or you will be able to find them on YouTube later. In between this video and the last one, went to the grocery store and designed the card for this project. So I have been having a busy day. Today is the first day in about 10 days that I have been home longer than, enough time to sleep and eat. So I'm catching up on laundry today. I'm catching up on errands today. And of course stamping, because I haven't been able to do a whole lot of that in the last while. And I see Laura is joining us live. Hi, Laura. This is actually my normal time to go live on Thursdays. So maybe some of you are joining me because you are used to joining me on Thursdays at noon Arizona time. But I have one project to share with you right now, and then the other three projects for today will be in separate videos. So make sure that you go back and check those out. But just like my normal Thursday Facebook class, you can earn the card kit this week for free with your order. But this week there are 4 cards. So there's a bonus card. Usually I do 3. So there's 4 cards in the card kit this week. And I've said this in my first 2 videos, but my goal with the cards this week is to get a lot of new product in your hands. So the only stamping that I'm doing today is sentiments. So you can substitute any sentiments that you want. But you'll get to sample some paper that is embossed with the new embossing folders. You will get some of the new designer series paper, and you'll really get to see a lot of new products. So you can earn the card kit for free when you place an order now through Tuesday. You need to choose me as the demonstrator or use the shopping link that I shared in post number 2 today. And that will connect you to me. And you need to spend more than $50 before tax and shipping. And if you're using any Stampin' Rewards, those don't count towards your $50. So your total that you're spending has to be $50. And then if you spend more than $75, I'm also going to tuck in an embellishment from my stash. So they're not brand new products, but they are brand new packages of embellishments. And I will tuck in one of those into your card kit. Plus you get bonus party points if your order is over 75. So I'm sure you will have a long wish list after today. But let's get going on our third project. I'm going to flip the camera down and show you the products we are going to be using to create this card. This one is a pretty simple card, but I think it's a fun layout that you can duplicate with other products also. So if you try that, make sure you share your version of it with us. So we're using today a mix of products from our new annual catalog, and we just had a bunch of online exclusive products that released on Tuesday also. So this project uses all online exclusive products. We are going to be using the Blooming Phrases stamp set. This is a fun one. I love the font, so that is why I got this one. But there's also lots of little flowers that you can use to make backgrounds, or just small images, or you can put flowers at the end of the phrases, which I think is fun. And then we are going to be using the Celebratory Sips Designer Series paper. This is part of a suite of products that are also online exclusives. And I was going to bring my bundle in here to show you, but I set it down someplace and now I don't know where it is. But it's a stamp and die bundle that has, sentiments like cheers to you, celebration type things, and then different glasses. And you can kind of get the idea from the designer series paper, but there's a lot of fun things you can do with this bundle. So this paper, this one has smaller images. You could fussy cut if you want. The fun thing about this designer series paper is that it includes 4 of the 5 new in colors. So here's one right here, Strawberry Slush. And I love the dots. That's one of my favorite patterns, is whenever they do any type of polka dots. I love this sheet too because it's purples. Purple is my favorite color. So that's really, really pretty floral. Even if you're not like a drink type person, there's a lot of patterns in this paper that don't have to do with drinks. So it's a good one to have. We have an old olive stripy pattern here. Okay, now this one is kind of fun. I think this would be a great background for a scrapbook page. Also, there are dies in the die set for the Cheers and Sips bundle that are little glasses, and if you line it up correctly, this can be like the drink, and then it has, you know, if you leave a little bit of white at the top, that's the top of your glass. And if I would have brought the bundle in here, I could have showed you that, but use your imagination because I don't know where I set my bundle down. But that's a fun sheet. I love the bright colors too. I don't know about you, but cloud cover is probably my favorite new in color. So here is a cloud cover pattern. That is super fun. Here we've got more drinks. I believe the Cheers and Sips dies will cut out some of these if they don't have anything sticking off the side or out of the glass, like these and this one. I believe the dies cut those out. This one's a fun one, Berry Burst and Blackberry Bliss, two of my favorite Stampin' Up colors. This one has lots of the little fruits and things that you would find on the edge of your drink glass. Okay, now this maybe looks almost black in the camera, but it's actually Secret Sea, which is one of our new in colors. It's a very deep blue, almost has like a black or gray tone to it. It's very, very pretty. And then more flowers. I love the bubble bath in here and the berry burst. And then, you know, oranges and yellows aren't my favorite, but I think this is a great combination. And then the last pattern is Timid Tiger, one of our other new in colors. Okay, also part of that suite are two of our 3-inch embossing folders. So these will go through the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. They are fun. I love this one. We're using this one on our card. There is also the ribbon. I did not end up using ribbon on my third project, but I used this ribbon on our second card today. This is the gold mesh ribbon, and it is part of the Celebratory Sips suite. It's my new favorite ribbon. And then I didn't grab the dots, but they are holographic dots. They're kind of iridescent and clear, so they match everything. Awesome. But on our cards today, we're using the in color flat pearls. So if you want to match the embellishments I'm using on my cards, you'll want to make sure you have some of these in your shopping cart. All right, are you ready to see card number 3? Here it is. So like I said, this is a pretty simple layout, but it's a fun one to use up your scraps of designer series paper and to mix and match different products. You could use a different embossing folder, different papers, and really make this card with a lot of different versions. So we're going to start with a thick basic white card base, 5.5 by 8.5, and we will fold in half. I don't think my score line was super deep, so I will have to make a good crease there. All right, then we have 3 strips of designer series paper that are 1/2 inch by 6. Now you can do this layout going vertical too, and then your strips don't need to be quite so long. But since I'm going the other direction on my card, I needed them to be a little longer so they go all the way across. So that's why mine are 6 inches, but you could do this layout in the portrait orientation also. Kind of like with our second card, if you watch that video, I did 2 different versions, and we had one in portrait and one in landscape. So it's a fun way to change up your card design just a little bit without having to think up something new. So I'm just laying these across the middle with a little space in between. And you could even do a few more strips if you wanted to. You could do 4 or 5. And it's just a little peek at the designer series paper. All right, and then we want to trim the edges off. So you can just use your snips or your scissors for that. And it's kind of fun to have the paper going at an angle. All right, we'll scoot our scraps out to the side there. All right, now I have a piece of white that is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2. And I embossed the top of it with that embossing folder. Oh man, I'm so bad with the names of the embossing folders today. Karen helped me out in my first project with the name of that one, and I have no clue on this one. So if you know what the name of this set of embossing folders is, you can put it in the comments, but I really have no clue with this one. I should have looked it up, but I didn't. I looked up a few other things, but not that. All right, I've got a hair stick to that. All right, we're using the Hello There sentiment, but again, you could use any sentiment that you want that will fit in this space. And I'm using Berry Burst ink. And I just thought Hello There was fine, but quite a few in this set will work, and any long, skinny sentiment you want to put there. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And if you wanted and you have this stamp set, you could add a little flower at the end if you wanted to too. All right, and then we're going to put that on a Berry Burst mat that is just 1/8 of an inch larger. So the white piece is 3 1/4 by 4 1/2, and the Berry Burst piece is 3 3/8 by 4 5/8. And then we're just going to add that to our card with some dimensionals. Now you could add ribbon to this card if you wanted to. I thought we'll keep it pretty simple, and I really didn't want to cover up any of that embossed piece because it's so pretty. All right, of course we have to add some bling, so I'm going to use my In Color Flat Pearls, and I liked the pop of orange, so I decided to use some of the Timid Tiger ones this time. And we're just going to add them to the centers of the flowers that look like this. So the roses I left alone, but these flowers looked like they needed a center. So I thought that was a perfect place to put some of these pearls. Like that. So there is our third project, simple but sweet. Let me know in the comments what you think of this layout, and if you do decide to make a card using this layout, I would love to see it. Make sure you come back at 1:30 Arizona Pacific time to see the last project, and then I will have posts going throughout the rest of the day, and you can catch up anytime. All right, I will see you again soon. Bye.